Hello. This is a bit of a different episode because I'm away and I need to get this done because, honestly, I just put it off. It's more of the raw episodes because it's more recent in my life, so it's a bit harder for me to get into it. So I think I've been putting it off a little bit, so let's get into it. I don't know how it's going to sound because I'm just recording off my phone, so we'll see. So, this episode, I've got it called The Husband When Love Became My Identity. Don't know if that's what I'll end up calling it, but basically it's about how I sort of funneled my identity into be the good partner and sort of disappeared inside it. So, I'm going to move it over. I need to see. I thought being a good husband meant giving everything. What I didn't realise was actually just giving myself away. And it's just, this is why I struggled so much when me and my ex-wife split up, was just that. I lost myself. I'd poured myself into her and the kids. I just didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know my place in the world, how I was going to keep going forward. And it was a dark time for me in the beginning. And if it weren't for my family and friends, I probably wouldn't be here, honestly. You know, proper long-term relationship. Just want to be different, want to be better, always want to get it right. Wanted a stable relationship. And I guess I was just trying to prove something. Not to the world, but to myself. You know, I'm not perfect, made mistakes, crossed boundaries, didn't listen to boundaries, you know, but I've learned, you know, it took me a long time to learn respect for certain boundaries and stuff, but I got there in the end. In my opinion, by the end of the marriage was a complete shock to me, because I thought I'd got it right, essentially. So when it came to a sudden end, I just was blindsided by it. So sad. I sort of tied everything to the relationship. My mood, which, you know, things were good. I felt great, really happy. Think I had a bad patch or argument, it's miserable until it was resolved. And I just saw this sort of unhealthy, parasitic relationship with the relationship itself. So my sort of, I guess, peace was tied to it as well. So if we were in sync, I felt at peace. But if we were like clashing, I felt like I was at war. You know, I don't know if that's a normal way, but that's just how I felt when things weren't great. That's when I struggled more. And then this, it's a weird one because it's like I tried by being a good partner, a good father, a provider. I just felt like my identity was tied to being a good man. And then when it came to an end, I thought maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was a horrible person and I deserved the things I've had to go through in my life. And I got a question here I've written down. Was I loving, or was I just trying to earn my worth? Good question. And honestly, I can't really answer that because I think it's a bit of both. But I can't tell you how I came across, only what I think now. It's like another phase of my life where I've tied my identity to being something, you know, whether it's grief, provider, father. I was just tying who I was to something else and bringing meaning into my life. And it's when I sort of, it was after it ended where I realised that this is a pattern. I've done it again. I've attached my identity to a role. And, you know, it wasn't straight after. It was recently where I was reflecting and I was going through some battles and I was trying to figure my life out and what I wanted next. So, and this is why I wanted to do the mini series, because there's like 3 impactful things in my life so far. I don't want to say it's over yet, but yeah, but so far there's a big 3 big impactful things in my life I've ended up attaching my identity to, rather than being my own person and that. So, you know, this episode isn't about marriage and why it came to an end. It's about me attaching my identity to it. I'm not trying to blame anybody. Don't want to be a victim, because what does that change? You know, the past is done. I'm trying to move forward, trying to be on this good path of life for me and my kids. You know, back in the gym, got a better work-life balance now, and it feels incredible. And you know, I've made the excuse of being busy to make this episode, but really, I just didn't want to, because it's more of a raw episode, because it's so recent. And the main thread of this series is me knowing who I am outside of being needed, I guess. And I don't want it to be like that. I want to be me, but still all these other things, because at the end of the day, these still form part of my identity. You know, grieving brother, provider, loving husband. You know, really, I'm all of them, but I can't just be one at a time in my life. Or, like, you know, I can't be the new loving partner to someone who decides that they want to be disappointed for the rest of life. But, you know, it's part of my story of figuring out who I actually am outside of those things, but also accepting that I am who I am now with those things included. So whether that's like I need a day as a grieving brother, or just a day to be a provider, I can't let it define me. It's got to be part of me, but not all of me, if that makes any sense. And I'm not sure the quality of this episode. Hope it comes alright, because otherwise I have to fucking re-record it. But there's another part of this series to come, and it's about more of like figuring out who I am now. And you'll all come to a conclusion, I'm an idiot, but I'm somebody. So thanks for listening. I shall catch you all. Look after yourselves. See you on the next one. Love you, bye.